In the depths of the Pacific Ocean lurks a creature so bizarre, so ferocious, and so oddly named that it seems more myth than reality. The sarcastic fringehead, with its giant, parachute-like mouth and aggressive temperament, defies everything you thought you knew about fish. This pint-sized terror of the sea is about to challenge your perceptions and take you on a journey into one of nature's strangest evolutionary experiments. The sarcastic fringehead, scientifically known as Neoclinus blanchardi, is a small but feisty saltwater fish found along the Pacific coast of North America. From San Francisco, California, all the way down to Baja California in Mexico, these little creatures make their homes in the shallow waters of the continental shelf. Now, you might be wondering, what's with that name? Well, the fringehead part is pretty straightforward. It refers to the frilly, fringe-like appendages above their eyes. But sarcastic? That's where things get interesting. Some say it's because of their grumpy expression when their mouths are closed. Others suggest it comes from the Greek word sarkazine, meaning to tear flesh. Either way, it's a name that perfectly captures the essence of this little fish. Sarcastic fringeheads can be up to 30 centimeters in length, with a face that looks like it's been sculpted by a mad scientist with a twisted sense of humor. The sarcastic fringehead has a long, slender body, typically brownish-gray in color, often mottled with patches of red or green. But it's not their body that'll catch your eye. It's that face. The most striking feature of the sarcastic fringehead is its disproportionately large mouth. When closed, it doesn't look too out of the ordinary. But when this fish opens wide, it's like watching a transformer in action. The jaw extends back well past the eyes, and the mouth can open to 4 times its closed size. Inside, you'll find rows of sharp, needle-like teeth and a brightly colored lining that can range from vibrant yellow to electric blue. Above their eyes, they sport those namesake fringes, soft, wavy appendages that give them a permanently surprised look. It's as if Mother Nature decided to throw every odd feature she could think of onto one fish, just to see what would happen. Now that we've got a mental image of our peculiar protagonist, let's talk about where they live. Sarcastic fringeheads are homebodies, but not in the way you might expect. They don't build nests or have a favorite spot on the reef. Instead, these resourceful little fish make their homes in whatever suitable shelter they can find on the ocean floor. Their ideal home might be an empty clamshell, an abandoned worm burrow, or a cozy crevice in a rock. But here's where it gets interesting. In areas with human activity, they've been known to set up shop in discarded bottles, cans, or even old shoes. These homes aren't just for shelter, though. They're valuable real estate that males will fiercely defend. Which brings us to one of the most fascinating aspects of the sarcastic fringehead, their aggressive territorial behavior. These fish take the concept of "get off my lawn" to a whole new level. They are renowned for their extreme aggression when it comes to defending their territory. First comes the warning display. The fringehead opens its massive mouth to its full extent, revealing those rows of sharp teeth and the bright colors inside. If the intruder doesn't get the message and back off, things escalate quickly. Now, here's where it gets really wild. When 2 male sarcastic fringeheads get into a territorial dispute, they engage in one of the most bizarre forms of combat in the animal kingdom. They don't bite, they don't chase, they don't slap each other with their fins. No, these feisty fish fight by kissing. Well, kissing might be a bit of a misnomer. What they actually do is even stranger. The 2 rivals approach each other, both with mouths agape. They slam their mouths together. This isn't a quick peck either. The fringeheads press their open mouths against each other, each trying to encompass the other's jaw. The The fish with the larger mouth usually wins, as it can literally envelop its opponent's head. Why fight this way? It's all about size. By comparing mouth sizes, the fringeheads can quickly determine who's the bigger fish without risking injury in a more physical fight. So why all this fuss over kissing each other? It all comes down to love, or at least fish reproduction. For male sarcastic fringeheads, having a prime piece of real estate is key to attracting a mate. Female fringeheads are picky when it comes to choosing a partner. They're not impressed by flashy colors or smooth dance moves. What they're looking for is a male with a good home. The better the shelter, the more attractive the male. When a female finds a male with a suitable home, she'll lay her eggs inside his shelter. The male then fertilizes the eggs and takes on the role of a single dad, fiercely guarding the eggs until they hatch. This is why males are so aggressive about defending their territories. A good home isn't just a place to live. It's their ticket to passing on their genes. Lose your home and you lose your chance at fatherhood. Now you might be wondering about that ridiculous mouth. Well, that's where the fascinating world of evolution comes in. The oversized mouth of the sarcastic fringehead is a prime example of sexual selection at work. In many species, males develop exaggerated features to attract mates or compete with other males. Think of a peacock's tail or a stag's antlers. For the fringehead, it's all about the mouth. Over countless generations, female fringeheads have shown a preference for males with larger mouths. Why? Because a bigger mouth means a better fighter, which means a better defender of the eggs. Males with larger mouths were more likely to successfully guard their nests and have their offspring survive. Over time, this led to the evolution of the comically large mouths we see today. But this supersized mouth comes with a trade-off. While great for fighting and impressing the ladies, it's not so great for eating. Sarcastic fringeheads actually have a harder time feeding than their smaller-mouthed relatives. They can't create the suction needed to slurp up small prey like other fish can. Instead, they have to rely on ambush tactics, darting out from their burrows to snap up passing morsels. It just goes to show that in nature, sometimes looking tough is more important than being practical. But wait, the sarcastic fringehead isn't content with just having a massive mouth. Oh no, it's got a few more tricks up its scaly sleeve. First, let's talk about those fringes. The cirri, which is the scientific term for those frilly bits above their eyes, aren't just for show. They're packed with sensory cells that help the fish detect movement in the water. Then there's the color-changing ability. While not as dramatic as a chameleon, sarcastic fringeheads can adjust their coloration to blend in with their surroundings. This helps them ambush prey and avoid predators. It's like having a natural camouflage suit. But perhaps the coolest feature is one we can't even see. The inside of a fringehead's mouth isn't just colorful, it's fluorescent. Under ultraviolet light, the yellow edges of their mouths glow brightly. Scientists think this might play a role in their mating displays, adding an extra wow factor to their already impressive gape. Now that we've covered the flashy stuff, let's dive into the day-to-day life of these peculiar fish. Despite their aggressive reputation, sarcastic fringeheads spend most of their time just chilling in their homes, waiting for food to pass by. They're ambush predators, relying on surprise and speed to catch their meals. Their diet consists mainly of small crustaceans, but they're not picky eaters. If it's small enough to fit in their mouth and swims too close, it's fair game. Interestingly, during squid spawning season, fringeheads have been observed gorging themselves on squid eggs. When they do venture out of their homes, fringeheads move in short, darting bursts. They're not built for long-distance swimming, preferring to stick close to their shelters. You might think that such a small, strange fish wouldn't have much interaction with humans, but you'd be wrong. Sarcastic fringeheads have developed quite a reputation among divers and marine biologists. For one, They're not afraid to stand their ground against humans. Divers who get too close to a fringehead's home might find themselves on the receiving end of a very angry fish. While they can't do any real damage to a person, their aggressive displays and attempts to bite can be startling underwater. There have been reports of fringeheads damaging wetsuits with their sharp teeth. But it's not all antagonistic. The fringehead's ability to adapt to human-made objects as homes has given scientists valuable insights into how marine life copes with pollution. In some areas, researchers have found fringeheads living in all sorts of discarded items, from plastic cups to old car batteries. This adaptability is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it shows the resilience of these fish in the face of human impact on their environment. On the other hand, it highlights the extent of marine pollution and its effects on sea life. So, what does the future hold for sarcastic fringehead? The good news is that currently, they're not considered endangered. Their population seems stable, and their adaptability has served them well in the face of changing environments. However, like all marine life, they face challenges from ocean pollution, climate change, and habitat destruction. The very adaptability that allows them to make homes in discarded human objects also puts them at risk of ingesting microplastics or being exposed to toxic chemicals. Interestingly, the sarcastic fringehead's unique behaviors and appearance have made it something of a poster child for marine conservation in some areas. Their alien-like look when they open their mouths has captured public imagination, helping to draw attention to the weird and wonderful creatures that inhabit our oceans. From their comically large mouths to their bizarre fighting style, from their adaptability to their fierce territorial nature, sarcastic fringeheads are a proof of the incredible diversity of life in our oceans. They remind us that nature often defies our expectations, creating creatures that seem too strange to be real. They show us that even the smallest, most unassuming animals can have complex behaviors and fascinating adaptations. Moreover, the story of the sarcastic fringehead is a story of survival and adaptation. In a changing world, these fish have found ways to thrive, turning discarded human trash into homes and evolving extreme features to gain evolutionary advantages. So the next time you're at the beach, peering into a tide pool, or watching a nature documentary, remember the sarcastic fringehead. Remember that beneath the waves, in the nooks and crannies of the ocean floor, there are creatures living lives full of drama, competition, and wonder. And who knows? Maybe one day you'll be lucky enough to see a sarcastic fringehead in person. Just remember to keep your distance, unless you want to risk a mouth-to-mouth encounter with one of the ocean's feistiest inhabitants. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. What other amazing ocean creatures would you like us to explore? And if you want to see more mind-blowing deep-sea creatures like this one, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. Trust me, you won't want to miss what other wonders and horrors the ocean has in store.